Hi there. So welcome to session number, I think we're on session number 6. Today we're actually going to take it back a level. So this is pretty, I guess, easy session for want of a better word. But we're going to focus in on the breathing a little bit more today and how to keep that kind of breathing calm, and also will help you kind of almost measure your level of fitness in terms of how well you can continue to do nasal breathing specifically for today, while we work on some aspects of strength. So there's 3 things we're going to do. We're going to do a split squat, but we're going to hold on to something when we do it. So next to like a kitchen counter or a steady chair, something that's pretty steady. Then we're going to actually do some Pallof press, which we did the other day, but we're going to add in pelvic floor breathing into that. So the focus is on the pelvic floor rather than on the actual movement. And then we're going to do some, there's going to be hip tilts in here, but we're going to draw that box on our back and we're going to press that box into the floor, just getting this cylinder active again and to bring that realization into what's happening in this cylinder core area when we are working out, and be able to take that into other movements. So we're going to start with nasal breathing, which means you're going to have your tongue at the roof of your mouth, and then you're breathing in through your nose and you're breathing out through your nose. Good. And your lips are going to be slightly open and you're going to have a relaxed jaw. Good. And you're just going to check in that when you do this, we're not like lifting through the chest, but we're actually trying to breathe down into the tummy. Okay, we are going to carry on that breathing while we're doing our split squat. So a split squat, when we set ourselves up, we're going to go for feet underneath the hips. Okay, I'm going to draw train tracks with my eyes, and I'm going to try and stay on those train tracks as I step forward or step back, right? So from here, in my split squat position, I've got a high heel at the back. So if your heel is dropping and curling in, just get it up nice and high. So we're using the arches in the foot, we're using the muscles to create a bit of stability and strength in the heel and through the foot and through the calf. It also will help you get your bum active, and that's what we want in these movements, is for those big muscles to be firing. Everything we do today is going to be between 8 and 12 reps. All I'm going to do here is I'm going to go down as much as what's comfortable for me. Okay, so I'm going to keep my front knee over my heel, laces. I don't want it to go any more forward than that. And I'm going to carry on now with my nasal breathing. And squeeze my mum and do the driving, squeeze my bum. 8 to 12 reps, nasal breathing. Two more, if you can. If you're done, that's fine. Super. Okay, shake that out. That's quite a difficult movement. Split squats are difficult because you're driving all the weight and force through one leg. So you're going to change legs now. If you need a longer break, take it. If you need to reduce the numbers, take it. But what you do want to do is match the number on each side. So if you did 8, make sure you do 8 on this side. If it's impossible, because quite often the body, I'm going to get going, the body will automatically start on that stronger side if you haven't made a conscious decision about it. So if this side is more difficult and you're not managing to get to that number that you got on the other side, we can stop, we can take a break, and we can go again. Or we can break it up into 2 and try and do more then on that non-dominant side. Okay, again, doesn't matter about the depth, go to where it's comfortable. Try and make that front leg do some of the work. If you're tight through the hips, flexors, you'll feel it on that back leg. Nasal breathing. Good, right, number 12. Excellent. We're going to go for the Pallof press. If you do not have a band, if you have a band, make sure it's on something steady, it's not going to fall. If you don't have a band, just a light weight. Any light weight at all. Yeah, it can just be a household item and you can press from here, okay? The focus is going to be on pelvic floor, so you're just going to be pressing something in and out, and then I'll talk to you about technique in a second. Okay, so I'm going to hold this in front of me. I'm going to tuck my tailbone underside slightly. When I'm doing the movement, I'm going to breathe in and hold still. And then as I press, I'm going to breathe out. To do that again, I'm going to breathe in. And as I press, I'm going to breathe out. Yes, so I'm breathing out as the movement is happening. I'm breathing out on the exertion. Okay, the exertion is when the movement's happening and I'm resisting something while I'm pressing. So if you're squatting or deadlifting or whatever, it's when the movement is happening, when the exertion is happening. Okay, so now we want to then take the pelvic floor with us. So as we do the exhale, I'm going to draw up my pelvic floor. Okay, so I'm drawing up my pee and poo muscles or jellyfish on the exhale. Okay, brilliant. We'll do the other side on the next round. We'll do 3 rounds of this. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to imagine, we're drawing a box, an imaginary box on our back. The top of the box is going to be a long kind of bra strap area. Then you have your sides of your butt, and then when you get to here, bottom of the box is top of the pelvis. All right? From here, I'm just going to lie down, and on every exhale, I'm going to press that box into the floor. So I'm going to relax on the inhale, I'm not relaxing my pelvic floor. On the exhale, I'm pressing that box into the floor as hard as I can. But I'm still doing my breath. You'll start to notice that your pelvis is working, relaxing, tilts up. As I press into the floor on the exhale, my pelvis is tilting, my tailbone is tucking under, and I'm starting to use my bottom as well. My whole chest cavity is starting to play a part because also my chest cavity is doing the pressing of the upper part of the box into the floor. Okay, we'll do 2 more. And draw up the pelvic floor here as well. On the next exhale, do your pelvic floor. Fabulous. Okay, so let's go back to our split squat. So we're going to go one leg in front of the other. Make sure we're not in that straight line here because that's where you lose your balance. That you've always got that nice gap between the legs, even when you're in a lunging or squatting position. So from here, we're going to dip down between 8 to 12 times, but we're going back to nasal breathing this time. So now I'm breathing with my tongue at the roof of my mouth. You carry on, just tilting up the screen. And carry on with that nasal breathing for as long as you can. As soon as the heart rate starts to go up, it's actually harder to maintain that nasal breathing. But we're going to try. Keeps your nervous system calm. All sorts of benefits for the body and the mind. Last 2. Okay, change sides. Again, you want to match the number on the other side. Nasal breathing, keeping that front knee over the heel and laces of your shoe. If you've got shoes on, or imagine your shoes on if you haven't got them on. So nasal breathing, driving, stretching out that back leg as well, keeping the heel high. 8 to 12 reps. Okay. If you are not counting, make sure there's a lot to be thinking and hearing and listening and then trying to apply. But when we get better, we want to be counting because it will be a self-motivator. It'll help you to, number one, motivate yourself, but number two, be able to make sure that you are doing an even amount on each side and all the rest of it. Okay, we're going to go for a Pallof press. But this time, you need to face the other direction. So I won't be facing you. I'll do it this way. Same idea, it's the pelvic floor is the focus here. So as you press, you're drawing up the pelvic floor. On the exhale, drawing up the pelvic floor as you're pressing. So I'm getting lots of resistance here. Draw up the pelvic floor. And then it's a weird one because you're having to release it when you come in, right? So when you take your breath in, release your pelvic floor. And then we draw up the pelvic floor as you press. Two more. So I've gone from nasal breathing to exhaling through my mouth on those ones. And it's going to be the same when we lie on the floor now. You're going to do the exhale through your mouth. You can bring in the pelvic floor, but you're pressing your cylinder and that box into the floor while we do this exercise. Alrighty, so from here, we're going to do 8 times. This time, let's go with hands up. On the inhale, you're relaxing everything. You'll feel a natural arch in your back. On the exhale, we're pressing everything down into the floor. Check that your big glute muscles are not doing all the work here. You can get your internal muscles to do that hip tilt for you without having to use your major glutes. Two more. Okay, one more round. So what we're starting to highlight in this session is the importance, the fact that there's different ways of breathing, the importance and the link of that breath to the pelvic floor, and how we use that breath, pelvic floor, while we're moving or we're doing strength exercises. All right. So let's go back to your split squats again. This time it's nasal breathing, and I want you to make sure you're counting your numbers. If you are naturally good at counting your numbers, great. Start on your non-dominant side first, so the side that it was more difficult on for whatever reason. So mine is my other side actually, which is because I'm tight. Hip flexors are tight. I should be nasal breathing, sorry. So in and out through the nose. Okay, shake it out. And swap sides. Just going to do 2 more. Side is really tough. Each. Okay. Your press, either with your weight or if you've got a band, brilliant. So we're going to go to that now. And just a reminder, in through the nose, out through the mouth this time. The focus is on that jellyfish pelvic floor, okay? I'm going to do 6 facing this way and then 6 facing the other way. If you're just got a weight, you can just do 12. Really working on releasing the pelvic floor when I'm doing my inhale. I'm finding that really hard. Just changing side, just so I get resistance from my left and my right. Smiling because I'm finding it really difficult to release. Okay, we're going to go for box into the floor. This time I'm breathing in through my nose, out through my mouth, and I'm using whatever muscles I need to press my back into the floor. But what I'm not doing is I'm going to try and keep my major muscles, the bigger glutes, out of the picture. And I'm trying to use my kind of internal core muscles to do the job. So you can even put your hands on your bum on the side of your hips to just check. But they're not activating, so there's no squeezing through the bum. Two more. Okay, found it really hard to keep going, breathing through my nose because the air is cold. But well done. Okay, so if the pelvic floor stuff feels alien and weird, there'll be other videos that will be more specifically talking about how to do that kind of pelvic floor stuff, but without the movement. The movement is the next stage, nice and slow, or even when we're static, using static strength. Well done. Very kind of, I guess the split squat was the more difficult bit there. The rest took a lot more concentration, but as the more you do this stuff, the less focus and concentration you need, because your body and your muscle memory will just be there for you to do that. Thank you very much. I will see you in the next session. Well done.